The Swarm is one of the most popular rides at Thorpe Park, and today I'm going to give my full review of this awesome coaster. So before I even start talking about the layout, I need to mention the theming. Throughout the whole area there's so many things to look at, such as the plane, billboard, the station and much more. It really enhances the whole experience, and without it the ride wouldn't be the same. Out of all the coasters at Thorpe Park, it without a doubt has the best theming, and really makes you feel like you're in some kind of apocalypse. As for the coaster itself, although it's quite short, I like the layout. After climbing to the top of the 127 foot tall lift hill, you do this brilliant dive drop. If you're at the back of the train, you see the ride slowly invert in front of you, and then you get whipped down the drop. This is definitely one of my favourite parts of the ride, especially if you're on the back row, and just in general I prefer the back row on the Swarm just because it's more intense and forceful. At the bottom you pass under a plane wing, which is a really nice near miss, and by this point you probably reach the coaster's max speed of 59 miles an hour. Then you go into a really nice floaty 0G roll before passing into my favourite near miss, the billboard, that feels like you're getting really close to it even though it isn't. Next you go through an incline loop, which I find is okay, but it can feel a bit slow, though the section following that is the most intense part of the whole ride. It's almost like a breather before entering this really forceful turn that you can especially feel at the very back of the train. There's also a great sense of speed as you go past the water. Then you pull up into the corkscrew before going round the billboard and then into an inline twist going over the station. I think this is a nice bit of interaction between the people on the ride and the people in the station, and has another great near miss near the start. It is also a good moment of hang time, and then to finish off you do a small turn and then enter the final brake run. Overall I like the layout for the Swarm, though it is on the short side, and something else to note compared to some of the other coasters at Thorpe Park is I don't find it as thrilling. There aren't as many snappy moments as you do the inversions and turns, it's more of a floaty feel. And don't get me wrong, in many cases that could be a good thing, though I think it does miss a bit of intensity because of that. Now let me take a second to talk about the restraints in the Swarm, because they have very mixed opinions. Personally I don't mind the feeling of the vest restraints, as I don't find them too restrictive and quite comfortable. The one negative thing about them is they do tighten. This normally happens on the more forceful moments, and by the end they can be much tighter. This is pretty annoying, though I don't think it ruins the ride too much if it happens. And even if that does happen, everyone can still enjoy the sheer smoothness of the Swarm. It's literally like you're gliding on glass. A thing that the Swarm does so well is the operations. It's always one of the more reliable rides at Thorpe Park, and the queue never moves slowly. Later in the day, from my experience, the queues are regularly lower than some of the other major coasters. And even if you do get stuck in a long queue, there's still lots of theming to look at, and you can get some really nice views of the ride itself, as a lot of the layout is actually right by the queue. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the Swarm at Thorpe Park, a very well themed coaster that fits perfectly into Thorpe Park's lineup. It has some forceful moments and a range of inversions to enjoy. Yes, it's short and the elements are on the less snappy side, but all of its positives make up for its weaknesses, and if you haven't been in the Swarm, you should for sure give it a ride next time you visit Thorpe Park. So yeah, that is my first full review of a roller coaster, and hopefully there'll be more to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.